Good evening and welcome to CM Performing Arts Center's online live speaker series, CM Spotlight. I'm your host, Tim Pappalardo. Thank you for joining me this evening. As you can see, I am wearing my new CM mask. I'm modeling it off. Do you like it? Well, it is for sale and it's only $12. It comes in this color, gold, and then it comes in white as well. So if you'd like to purchase one of these fantastic masks, which I can tell you, really, really good. You can go to CM's website, CM's shop, and you can see it there. I sort of skipped my order because I realized that this is really, it was really a good mask. It's very, very thick. Hello, everybody. It has been a long time since we've been together. It was June 25th. We did our celebrating the Tonys episode, and a lot has happened since then. It's been really hot out. The summer has kicked off into full gear. It was my birthday, July 3rd. And then we celebrated the country's independence, July 4th. And then, of course, both COVID-19 and the Black Lives Matter is still at the forefront. So it's safe to say there has a lot been going on. But I want to say thank you to everyone who is joining us this evening for this episode. So as you know, CM has another program that has been consistently going out throughout the summer. It's CM's live cabaret series. So if you would like to check out those videos, you can go to, here it is, here's the link, cmpac.com/event/CM live. So that's there. Also, if you would like to see more of the episodes that we have done, because we have, I think this is our, what is it? This is our 14th episode. All 14 episodes are on our website, so you can go check that out. And the link, let me pull that link up, is for past episodes, CM Spotlight. Visit cmpac.com/event/CM Spotlight. So also, I'm going to throw this out there because we'd love to have your input. If you have any show ideas that you would like to hear us talk about, guests that you would like to see, there are so many ideas that we have throwing around, but we'd love to have your input. Please feel free to email me at tim@cmpac.com, and we'll make sure that we get that into the roster. So with that, let's get this spotlight underway. So Jesus Christ Superstar, it is one of CM's staple productions. I mean, we have done this show over and over and over again. We produced it in 1989. Let me pull up that picture. Oh, you gotta love this picture with the Noel and the gold lame. Nothing is better than this. So 1989, 1993, 1997, 2001, 2008, 2015. So we have done it over and over and over again. It is an incredibly important production, CM. So tonight we have all of these incredible actors who have played the roles of Jesus, Mary, and Judas. So joining me, I'm going to introduce everybody. So joining me tonight, we have, and let me make sure I'm pulling up everybody. We have Christopher Crosby. Hi.
Hello.
We have Christina D'Orta. Say your last name, Christina.
Muens.
Muens. We have Ellen Dumlao. Hi, Ellen. We have Chakira Iliana. Am I saying that right?
You are.
Oh, yes. Okay, I was totally thinking I was getting it wrong. We have Christine, and this is the tongue twister, Kravchenko.
Kravchenko, but it was De Robertis, so not much better.
And we have Brian Reich. Hi, guys. How are you doing?
Good.
So good to see you. So, I created this poster and I was putting this together, and I wanted to put a surprise guest because I didn't want to announce it, but, because I thought it would just be fun to have someone who would be a surprise. I sort of gave it away in the announcement, and they are here. So let's bring him in. It's Don Del Gel Sr. Hello. Hi, everybody. Hi, Don.
Hey.
So good to see you. And everybody, thank you so much for being here. So what has been going on in all of your lives?
Wow. Kind of loaded. Where do we start?
Yeah. Anyone, please feel free to chime in.
Weddings, children, COVID.
Yeah.
Children.
What about you, Chris?
Yeah, no children.
No.
Dogs.
We
Got
have a
dogs.
wedding, so I did get married since then. And COVID, same as everybody else.
You got married since being in the show, or married since COVID?
No, since being in the show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Brian, how are you?
I'm great. I've just been, obviously, I know we all talk about COVID, but I have 2 dogs that are my besties, and just right now, just trying to figure out what's going to happen with schooling next year, because I'm a high school music teacher with chorus and doing the musical and all that. So we're just trying to figure out the best options for the kids for next year, see what's going to happen.
I think we're all sort of curious to see exactly how that's going to lay out.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where you don't know exactly how it's going to run. So I'm excited to hear all about it. So guys, when you think of Jesus Christ Superstar, what comes to mind?
Noel.
100%.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
What-
Tim, you muted yourself.
Why Noel?
I just feel like there was so much of his heart in every production, and I don't know. It's just Noel, and then a close second would be Don Dowdell.
Without a doubt. Yeah, personally, I did it when I was in elementary, actually
it
middle
makes me think
school.
about faith a lot. It makes you question or start to think of why you believe in what you believe in.
Okay. Brian, you were chiming in as well. You guys both sort of chimed in at the same time.
Okay. No, I was just saying that I remember starting in middle school and being in a couple of productions when Don played Jesus and Ellen played Mary. And then I went years later, I became Simon, and then Noel came up to me at the end of a summer camp, and he just said to me, I'm not going to do it in the Noel voice, but said to me, can you sing Gethsemane for me? And I'm like, okay. And that's how it all started for me, to play Jesus. It was an amazing opportunity that he gave me to do that. So
I was searching through, and I found, of course, we have pictures on our archives, which is on our website, cmpac.com. But I found one of these pictures from this production. Do you remember which one this was from?
that would be probably 2001, right? It was 2001.
It was 2001.
Yeah.
So a question I was going to ask, Chris and Brian, because you guys shared a role, what was it like to be sharing a character like that in such an incredible production?
Brian?
Yeah, Chris.
I thought it was great because it gave me the chance to see somebody else's take on it within the same family setting. We also split. That's the same that Christina and Ellen split as well, and we had 2 Judases as well. So
No, we didn't split that.
Me and Ellen split it, right? In
No.
93.
Christine and Ellen split
Yeah,
it.
we
I did the whole run.
Oh, because I know I did some.
I
with Ellen
think I
too.
subbed.
You might have
I
jumped
think
in
I-
for me for like a weekend or something.
Yes.
Yeah,
Maybe that's it.
yeah. I think that's
But-
what it was. I just jumped.
We
in.
also had.
jumped in,
We also
jumped out.
did a couple of different ones with.
Ellen's the rotating Mary. And then I jumped in for Chakira when she couldn't do it for one weekend. So then she did it after us.
So it's I was looking through, where each of you guys have propped. So where did what production did each of you play your character in, and also who did you play? so that people know in the audience?
I think
Who's going first?
we were all Marys, and I think they were all Jesuses.
Yeah. The only, you know,
We are
don't
Judas
have a
free
Judas
tonight.
reference. Yeah, we are Judas free.
So Frankie Gabriel was supposed to be here this evening. Unfortunately, he had a work commitment that came up, but I did have a chance to interview him. So we are going to be hearing from him shortly as we go on. But I'll be playing a video for him when he talks about it. So what made you guys all want to audition for this show? I mean, I know we talked about, Noel. It was what Jesus Christ Superstar comes to mind, but why would you want to do this show?
Mine was definitely Noel, because in '89 it was my first lead, so he kind of encouraged me to break out of my shell and audition, and it was one of the best experiences I've ever had. So yeah, it was definitely a Noel push, and I'm so grateful.
Chris.
I'm going to agree with that too. I think for me, we had just finished Children of Eden, and the auditions for this were, I think, like the weekend before Children of Eden closed. And at the time, I was relatively new to the theater too. So I was speaking to Noel one night, and he said, "Oh, why don't you come audition for Jesus Christ Superstar?" And I thought, all right, what do I got to lose? So I did, and that was it. I moved on from there, and that was when I really had a lot of great conversations with Noel, and a lot of it was about faith and about our beliefs and how we mold ourselves into shaping our own moral compass.
Don, so since you were the first Jesus for our first production, Jesus, and you've also appeared, I think, in the late '90s version as well. What was it like for you playing that role, or how did you get involved in playing Jesus in the cast of what looked like a cast of thousands?
Yes.
Yeah, it was actually about 4 or 5 years before that. It was with St. John Nepomucene's youth ministry, and my sister called me one day and said, "Oh, we need guys for Jesus Christ Superstar." And I was like, "Joan, I haven't listened to the music. I haven't." So I go in there with nothing prepared, which is typical me. So anyway, but so that was the first time. That was '84, and I played Peter. So 5 years later, after we in '87 we formed CM. That's when and 2 years later he gives me the call, and he said he wants to do Superstar this summer, and would I want to try out for it? So and I gave it a shot, and that was it. I was fortunate.
Well, Don, how does it feel? Because you have people who, everybody has their home theater. Everyone has, actors, like all of us here have their home theater. And when they think about people who play roles, for me, I think about Brian Reach playing. I think about Chris. I think about Danny, Amy. And then I think about you. I mean, and here's a comment from Dina. When I think of Jesus Christ Superstar, I think of Don Dowdell and the fire alarm. We'll go back to the fire alarm story in a moment. Or Matt, Don, CM Royalty. What is that? What does that feel like to have that sort of, I hate to credibility and how people look up to you? How does that feel?
It's humbling. I don't expect it, and I don't deserve it, but
You absolutely deserve it, 100%.
Well, I gotta go.
That's why we love you.
always the jokester. I remember working with you. Christina and I worked with you on Godspell, and I remember how fun that was, and how for me, Christina just left. For me, seeing you work, and then also like honestly, everybody on this panel, I've seen all of you work, and you guys are the utmost professionals. I mean, like the quality level of the performances that you all give, I mean, is crazy. So I was going to ask Chakira. So you played Mary. What was it about the role of Mary that was an interest to you?
Well, I love Andrew Lloyd Webber, and I love that he writes these very conflicted women. He writes these strong women, but he writes them at a point in their story, in their lives, where they're just really conflicted. And so he'll take a strong woman and make her three-dimensional. He does not do that apparently in real life, but that's a different topic. I just enjoy that you get to see real human struggles, and there's a lot of shows that you just don't get that. You get that very two-dimensional ingenue kind of thing, and I love that Mary wasn't that. I love that she was conflicted every step of the way until the very final moment. So that was a really, really big decision for me, because to throw yourself into that is not easy, and to you're laying yourself bare in a way that society doesn't really like to do. So it was a very, very very big gift that I was given.
Ellen, you've also played the role of Mary. What was it like, for you playing it for the first time?
For the first time, that was when I was with Don at St. John's Nepomucene. The first time I was only like 17, 18 years old, I think.
Yep.
And it was like the audition process alone was a gift, because Noel had called us back, and he had us. We sat down, and he was explaining what was happening, and this was like the 39 lashes scene, supposedly, and he wanted us to go to a place where you would have to imagine it and what you would do, and he had Andrew Prince or whoever was play the music that was in the background, and just being given that permission as a young artist to go to those places that will take you to such deep emotions was like one of the coolest things for me as a young artist. Plus, not to mention that Yvonne Elliman, seeing her in that movie, inspired me to be like, I want to be like, oh wow, she's singing that song, I want to sing that song too. So,
which is what at least I felt about you. So you passed that along, because I was like, Ellen, how do you follow in that? And you just want to do that.
It's going to those real places as an artist, to be able to go there and then take yourself back out and just be, normal. It was quite healing. And that was that was another beautiful thing about being part of these productions, right? Is that you're in it and you're taking that journey with everybody. And we're all changed because of that, so really magical. Yeah. That's all.
I'm pausing. I'm muting myself because there's extra noises happening here. I'm forgetting to unmute myself. Christine, what? I know you talked about a moment ago about how it was a great opportunity for you. So when you were playing this role, what was going on, in your mind while you were on the stage and looking out at these people?
It was very overwhelming. I was 18 or 19 at the time, and it was my first big part. And like Ellen said, it was very emotional. And Don, of course, is just amazing. So we always had this very deep connection, obviously playing, parts across from each other for many productions. But the emotion and just bringing yourself into that character and putting yourself, my faith and my Christianity, if you want to call it, became so much deeper because I think I understood it more rather than just sitting in church and sitting in religion class and learning from a book. Once you get into it, that's what was amazing. Aside from all the amazing people that were in the show with me, and it was a beautiful experience. And I got to share the part with Ellen in '93, which was my great honor.
Mine too.
Incredible.
So, I was looking through, and what did you all do to prep for the role that you played? Anybody?
I wish I would have prepped more. I wish I would have done more research and knew what I know doing the show that I would have done back then before I had done it. Like I found like
I like to refer to
a lot
myself
of definitions now that would have really crafted, would have steered my performance a little bit more.
Yeah, like I like to refer to myself as a 12-step recovering Catholic. And so I found myself for the first time in a really long time kind of going back to the things that I had learned in Sunday school and Catholic school as a child. So, you tend to block a lot of things out when you walk away from things. And so I kind of forgot a lot of what I had been taught as a child, and kind of going back to that and bringing some of, my interpretations of that through, like Ellen said, was very cathartic. And so there was a lot more religious things going on in my house at the time when I was prepping that role than I think my husband was prepared for.
Brian, what did you do to prep for the role?
As everyone's saying, it's such an emotional role to be involved in, and the whole cast, you just become so close with each other. I mean, the bond that you form during it is absolutely incredible, and there are no words to really explain it. But like I said, when Noelle came up to me and asked me to sing it, I was like, wow, I didn't know that I could do it, and I really just worked on it more and more to make sure that I had, because I mean, Jesus is a crazy range. You know what I mean? He's way up in the rafters, and he's just all over the place. And just, it was important to me to play Jesus as a humble person, because that's how I thought he would have been. And I know when Don did it, I was a kid, somebody I looked up to a lot, and Ellen as well. And I said, Jesus would have loved everybody. He would have went up to everybody. He would have hugged everybody. He would have touched everybody. So I really wanted to make sure that I was touching upon the humbleness that I think Jesus had.
Christina, what did you do to prep for the role?
I watched the for me it was I was such a fan of the production with Ellen and Don that I had seen a video of, that I had a video of. So to me it was like following in Ellen's, like, I mean, I've always known Ellen and loved Ellen, but that was like, to be able to do that role that she did, that I looked at her as like, that was like her role. Like my role is Evita, like that's me, So like Ellen, that was like Ellen's, and I know everybody, like Christine had played it and other people, but to me, like the epitome of Mary was Ellen. And so I had just like, it was a lot for me to just have that honor to do that and follow that, And then I also had, it was a little different for me because I had two different Jesuses. So I had a kind of veer a little one way with Brian and a little different way with Chris. So I had like almost two different kind of shows. So it was kind of cool to kind of get to play it versus, with two different leading men. It was really an amazing experience.
So as I'm sitting here and listening and thinking, because a lot of you had the opportunity to play the roles again, when you've had a second chance to play the role, what was it like? Were because you have all these life experiences that have now come in, and you get to reapproach a character that you already played. So, was it different? Was it the same? Who can answer that?
I got tossed into a production with like 2 hours notice at another theater, but it was still Danny Amy, so that was helpful. So I don't know. That was kind of it was awesome, but it was also big time shove with love because I had not seen that production, and like the staging was different, the costume was different, everything was different, totally different theater. So that was a big shove with love, but it was really cool because, you know, it's always like the morning after a show ends, you're like, oh, you know what? If I had done that one thing that way, and then you're like, God damn it, like I lost my spot. So, you know, so I got to like try and interpret and, you know, incorporate some of that, but I also was trying to figure out like where was my entrance and where am I going, and oh, that's my light cue. Okay, great. So,
that's kind of how I had to jump in for Chakira that way, kind of. I mean, I think I had a little probably more notice, but it was still like I had to jump in. It was the same thing. It was like, you know, and it was different Jesus, different Judas, different, but it was still Noel's production. So for me, it was a little bit different because, you know, Noel's Superstar is generally Noel's Superstar. Like, so even if it was there were nuances that were different and there were people that were different, but I could still jump in and I could still feel like I kind of fell right back into it. You know, it wasn't as big of a stretch for me, I think, probably as it was for Chakira.
Ellen, what about you?
Yeah, I think you get like you get deeper into the character too, and then well, I had some time to sort of mature a little bit and do a little research, and the first time around playing it as a teenager was much different than playing it or in your 30s. And you do some research too, because then you realize like, oh, you know, Mary's character really is a compilation of 5 different biblical women and things like that, you know, and that she wasn't a hoe and all that stuff, and or the adulteress or whatever. You find out what's like fiction and what's, you know, interesting to delve into that character that way. I'm a little bit of a method actress too, so I've experienced life, you know, and forgiveness and all those things.
Don, you had that opportunity as well. Did it differ for you from production to production?
Yeah, as you said, you learn just over time the different things that happen in your life. And then you look at that who you're portraying, and you look at that role. Excuse me, I don't want that one. Anyway, I've been a burrito. And it's something that Ellen mentioned before. You change after each time, and I was like, I don't know if I want to go into this again and change. You know, it's that, and it so that had it leaves an impact on you, but. Yeah, it changed for every time you went. Well, the last time I did it, it was the apostles were really young guys. You know, I mean, a lot of them were in high school and stuff like this. And they, you know, we were talking about it one night, and I came in late to the production because we were doing the one before it. And then so they had been together, and they were like, you know, we don't have names. I'll never forget that. They were like, they did, except for Peter, you know, and you know, and Judas, you know, and John, the other 9 didn't have names. So Noel, I said to Noel, I said, you have that book on apostles, right? So he gave it to me. It's a book this big. So I started going through and made copies of the other 9, and I gave them a name, and I gave them the reading on each one of these apostles, you know. So and they went out and they did their work, their method acting, if you will, you know. But no, they came back, and I forgot who it was. I think his name was. Can't remember his name. I think it was Nathan. I'm not sure. He was a real tall kid, and he came back, and he comes back, and he had spoken to somebody in wardrobe and said, no, I have to have purple. Matthew wore purple. You know, one of the apostles wore purple. Mark, I think it was. So it was really great because everybody started attaching themselves to their character, you know, and it was a great experience. You know, that's just one of the things that, you know, you think of, but it was pretty neat. It's always different.
Brian, for you?
There's just so many things. I mean, you know, you know, the fact that Chris and I split the role, and I did get to I worked with Christina, and one night I got to work with Ellen. That was just something for me that was unbelievable, because when I was a kid, would sit backstage with Michael Santangelo. And we would listen to Ellen sing "I Don't Know How to Love Him," and we would just sit there and just like take it all in. And one night, and listen, I was playing Jesus, and Ellen, that one of the nights played Mary, and I was just laying on her and listening to her sing it, and it was something that I just will remember forever. It was just a beautiful and powerful thing. It really was. It was amazing. So for that's something that really sticks with me. But with everybody, we all just have such a tremendous bonds together when we do shows like that. You know what I mean? And for me, having my kids, being a high school teacher now, and getting to send my kids there and seeing my kids appreciate Creative Ministries and how awesome it is. That's my dog, sorry. It's just an amazing thing. It's great. So
it's really, for me, and hearing everyone's stories, just with you guys, it's they're all very similar. That there's a connection to the piece that's deeper than just a theater production, than just it being just a show. It makes you think and evaluate life. It makes you think about things that are important. You talk about values. You talk about struggles that you had. You can associate struggles with the character with struggles that you've had. And so that connection started today for me when I spoke with Frankie. We had a 6-minute talk about his experience, and he is the only Judas that was here. So I wanted to play his thoughts so that you guys could hear it, and then also the audience, because I thought they were really, really poignant. So here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Gabriel. Hey, Frankie, how are you doing?
Hi, Tim. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for being here today with me. We're going to have you on the broadcast when your life changed, and you couldn't be here for the live broadcast. So we wanted to bring you in here to talk a little bit about Jesus Christ Superstar. So when you think about the show, what comes to mind?
The first thing I think of is Noel Ruiz. I mean, the first thing I think about is Noel. I saw the show at Creative Ministries 2 runs before, or maybe even 3 runs before I was able to play the part of Judas. And getting to see Don Dowdell Sr. Play that Jesus track epically was one of the things that made me want to come work at the theater. Really, those were some dynamite productions. So I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is Noel.
Because that was actually my next question, Frankie. You beat me to the punch here. I was going to ask you, but what made you want to audition for the role of Judas? So you saw the shows at CM, and that vocal part that Judas does is just like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's taxing. Well, I saw the show, and it was my grandmother's favorite show. God rest her soul. It was her favorite show, and she would sing it all through the house, and I would sing it all through the house, and she would sing the words even though she didn't know them, and I just always wanted to play Judas. I mean, it's a vocally taxing track, but just at that time in my life sat right in my wheelhouse, and it was as rock and roll as it got for me. So it's probably my all-time favorite role.
So a friend of mine who lives near me, where my house is, was in the Broadway production of Anastasia, and one of the characters in that show, his name's Dimitri, and it's one of those characters that you just want to sink your teeth into. But so many people got bumped out of playing that role because they just didn't have the vocal chops to sing it. Do you think that that's also the same case for Judas?
Yeah. I mean, emotionally, there's some chops that comes to act that role, properly. I saw Tim Roth, is that his name? Tim Roth, maybe, at Theater 3. I saw a Judas there that was absolutely mind blowing. And vocally, it's so intense. And I think that when it comes to casting that, you have to be able to pull off both of those. And there's a lot of yelling and screaming, and to do it twice a day is a lot of prep for your chest and your voice, and a lot of rest. And at that time, I was doing my rock and roll thing, so my rock and roll chops were really dialed in at the moment. I think that carried me through the show. I mean, there was times when I would, in the middle of the show, I would turn to Billy Lewis and I would go, and he would be like, it's a hard show to sing. It's a hard show. All the tracks are really hard to sing, but Jesus is that's a screaming track. Difficult.
I was gonna pull up a video of you, and let me see if I can pull it up here. Come on, computer.
Oh.
Oh my goodness. Oh, what happened?
Whoa.
I'm sorry for hitting it during the middle of the
That's okay. Atta boy, young Frankie. Wow. That's hard.
So when you look back at that, what do you think?
Oh, I mean, I was so pleased. I mean, there's been, I know my strengths and my weaknesses, and, over time you really figure those out. And this is a show that was really, really I felt really strong about this. And I was very, very, very deep in this character. And I was so fortunate to be surrounded by so many talented people that those people make you look even better. You know what I mean? Like, those people make you look even better. Dan Amy makes you look even better. You know what I mean? Billy Lewis. Those people, just when you're on stage and you share the stage with those people, they push you to be better, So I was constantly testing myself, and I'm so happy I saw that. That was cool.
So I was watching it today, and I was trying to pick the best moment. I'm like, oh my God, there's so many amazing moments. But that one I thought just totally featured your voice. If I didn't press stop. So Frankie, what aspects of Judas, now looking back at it, and we just talked about, looking back at it, but what aspects of Judas do you relate to the most?
In all honesty, Judas is a tortured soul. He's a tortured soul. And, not to go too deeply into it, but in my late 20s and early 30s, I was going through a lot of personal issues, and I was a tortured soul. And there was times where I just felt alone. And, even though I had so much support, I felt alone. And, there's a lot of that character in my real life at that time. And it was easy for me to draw emotion from, what was true to life at that time. So it was easy for me to come out there and pour my heart and soul into it, because I understood the character on a personal level. And I took that show very seriously.
Frankie Gabriel, thank you so much for being here with us today. Appreciate you taking the time, and we hope to see you hopefully back on our stage very soon.
Yeah, I hope so. Thanks for having me. Good to see you.
Thank you, sir. So there's Frankie. And he talked a lot about what you guys sort of talked about, and it was just very interesting as our interview is going on. How it's very, very, very similar. It's for me. I would have loved to play these roles and had the chance to do that. So. I would ask you, looking back at it now, and you've had the opportunity to play these roles, what what do you think about when you look back at it?
Sad that I'm too old now.
I wouldn't say you're too old now.
I wouldn't say that either.
You're
Ellen.
I consider myself very blessed to have played that part, and very, very blessed to be a part of it. The whole journey of even passing the torch, I guess, to all the wonderful, beautiful actors, artists that's able to, I guess, be blessed to have played that part too, because it really does heal you in a way, and those productions anyway, so I consider myself very blessed, and to be in the company of all the other beautiful people that have been part of the production. Does that answer the question?
Yes, Chris, you also chimed in as well. I think there's a delay. Can you hear me, Chris?
He cannot.
Possibly not. He cannot.
I don't think you can.
He has a nice smile on.
Talking to me.
Yes. Chris, I was going to say, there he goes.
There he goes.
Where did he go?
Into the abyss of the internet. Anybody else want to answer that question?
I think there are few. Listen, every show has a special place, but then there are shows like, that are just fun. Like Anything Goes was fun, and I love it, and I would love to do it again, but it was just fun, Then there are shows like Superstar, or there are shows like, for me, like Evita, or shows like Children of Eden, where they do something different. It's not just, I had a great time, it was a great cast, it was a great show, it was fun, I loved singing it. It's different. It's not like Mary's a great part. Is Mary the most vocally amazing part I've ever played? Really, no. However, it's so much more than that. Like it's got this, it's just something that your heart does when you're in a show like this, or Children of Eden, or, in my case, Evita, because I followed her life so heavily, and, but there's just certain shows that just hold a place that's different, and it's not just a show. It becomes more about the experience and the family, and you kind of put yourself there, and you experience maybe a little piece of what maybe they experience, or maybe what you think they may have experienced. It's a different kind of an animal, and it's just an amazing thing to be a part of.
Don, for you?
That says it all. It really, it just leaves its mark, and I've done other shows and had a great time. There's been a few shows or parts that just left its impression on you, and this is one of those.
So, talking about leaving your mark, Don, we have a lot of comments online of people who are commenting on you leaving their mark on them, and I want to bring this up, Don. It's going to cover everyone's faces. So this is from Matt. I think we can all agree that Don was an incredible mentor to all young male performers. I met him for the first time while doing Tales of Wonder. I was in my early 20s, and I will say that not only was he an incredible example as a performer, but also as a father. I remember watching him interact with his own children during rehearsals and thinking to myself, I want to be a dad just like him. CM attracts the most wonderful people.
Oh, Matt, that's
Matt.
It's so I think Matt, I think you totally hit on it. CM is a family atmosphere. We are about bringing people together. We're about connecting. We're about showing the love of arts, and also showing the love, especially with Jesus Christ Superstar, the love that the apostles, that Mary, and ultimately the love of Judas that was there for Jesus. And it was a great. I think the reason why CM did it so many times because it was just another interpretation of talking about the importance of Jesus and what it means to everyone's life. Do you guys agree?
Yeah.
And there was something different about, Noel's production, Jesus at the end, he comes back, and it's such a beautiful moment, and it's just, he had such an amazing take on it, and to be able to experience it that way, I feel very lucky. Because maybe, some other productions, though, they can all be wonderful and they rock out and they sound great. And Noel, this was such a piece of Noel in such a special way. And what he brought to this show, like, it's something that I don't think it just can't be replicated. He just had this, it was this realness, this real feeling for the show, and he didn't treat it like it was just a show. It was something more for him, and I just think that comes across in what he did with it and what we all took from it.
He was ministering.
Yeah. Yep.
And I think that's why everybody's first thought when you say, "What do you think of when you say superstar?" is Noel.
So we have another comment from Kathy. I treasure all my memories of CM. You're such all special people, and I hope you're all healthy and happy. Thanks for all that you've given to my family.
Aww.
Thanks, Kathy. Guys, so I asked you today. I asked you all today, what is your favorite passage or phrase from your character? So what I'll do, just to sort of,
all of them.
Yeah. Okay, Ellen. To break the ice, I'm going to have Frankie go first because Frankie did it as well. So I'll get Frankie to break the ice. So here's his phrase. So Frankie, we also asked everyone what was their favorite phrase in the show to sing. So for your character, what's the favorite one, and can you sing it for us?
Sure. I think my favorite line to sing in this whole show is the funniest one as well. Doing the does he love me too? Does he care for me? Help! And then for some reason I turned British. And my God, I am sick. I've been used. And I don't know why it was all of a sudden Judas was from London.
Well, thank you for that fact, Frankie. We'll make sure that we'll share it tonight. And the funny thing is that while Frankie was doing that, his team members walked into work. So he was so Frankie works at 848 in New York City, and he was sitting in the rooftop bar, which he manages. I think he's the beverage director and director of the entire venue. And I asked him to do this, and like as he was going through it, the person walked in. He's like, "Hold on one second. Hold on." And then starts to do it. So, okay, so let's go around. Chakira, what's yours?
What do I do now?
When does that happen in the show?
That's in Could We Start Again, Please?
Okay, Christine.
Mine, back then, I don't know what it was, but as an adult, I had a very colicky first child. So I would always sing, try not to get worried, try not to turn on to problems that upset you. Oh, don't you know everything's all right? Yes, everything's fine. And that would get him to sleep.
So we have a comment. So Matt commented again earlier on. He said, "But I recall very vividly Christine D'Orta portrayed the role of Mary Magdalene. Her soft rendition of 'I Don't Know How to Love Him' was so moving, almost prayerful. With such simple, authentic emotions, she presented the song more as an invitation to the audience to accept that Jesus is all loving and forgiving, and if he can love her, and he can love all of us as well, despite being sinners." Thanks, Matt. Christina, what's yours?
My favorite line to sing in the whole show, or my favorite part of the whole show for Mary, was when Peter's denial, when he denies Jesus 3 times, and he says, she says to him, "It's what he told us you would do. I wonder how he knew." So that's my favorite part of the whole show.
Don, what's yours?
I can't. I don't even.
Come
I
on,
only saw that.
Don.
I only saw that email about this just before it started, and I was like, "You have got to be kidding me." Well, it's nothing that I from the part that I did, but there was one moment that said it all to me. Was at the resurrection, and when I would go to Mary and Christine and Ellen remember this, and I almost didn't want to wake them, and I just remember that moment.
Yeah.
We're all like, wait.
I know. Thanks, John.
Yeah, I remember that. That did it for me. No, I can't even tell you. I can't even tell you. I have lyrics of all the other folks in my head. I have all those lyrics. I don't remember anything that I sang.
How about when you did "Nail me to the cross and break me"? That's my favorite Don Dowdell moment, ever in the creation of Don Dowdell.
Brian, what's yours?
It's really hard to say, but when you asked us to do that, the part, I don't know why it's stuck in my head, or actually I kind of do, is when Mary and when Jesus is comforting Mary and Judas comes in and he's questioning everything that Jesus is doing. And Jesus says, "Surely you're not saying we have the resources to save the poor from their lot. There will be poor always pathetically struggling. Look at the good things you've got." It was look around you. Look at everything that's here. This is what everything is good. Why are you focusing on negative? Let's just take care. Let's be. And for me at that point in my life, I needed to just look around me to realize how blessed I was to have what I had. That was why that stuck in my head.
Ellen, what's yours?
If we try, we'll get by, so forget all about us tonight. And that whole song, basically. But that's that's speaking to me today for now to help me cope with everything else going on in this planet.
Yeah. Christopher, what's yours?
We'll get back.
Similar to Christine, I didn't have one at the time, but in retrospect now, I think about it, and mine was definitely Judas, must you betray me with a kiss? And I keep thinking about how relevant that is in our everyday lives with so many different people in so many different ways.
Guys, thank you for rising to the occasion of singing for us today. It was so fantastic hearing all of your voices. It makes my heart sing. So a question I was going to ask Don. And everyone else who has children, seeing your children involved in theater, what is it like for you to see your children perform?
Oh, it's great. It's just great. I mean, just sit back and you listen to it and you watch them grow, and then being able to see them do something that is they enjoy, they love, so it's listening to them and even your grandkids, so it's pretty cool. Very cool.
That's awesome. My youngest he's not a theater, but he's going to be a freshman at the University of Delaware for music ed, and he's a Frank Sinatra type singer, and it's like living my youth again through him, and it's I couldn't be prouder, and I get it, you know.
My daughter is a mini me. She wants to be and do, and if I wear black shoes, she has to wear black shoes. If I have my hair in a ponytail, she wants her hair in a ponytail. And then she sits in her room and she sees me doing like these things, and I'm recording for like the CM Live. And so now she takes her tablet in her room and she sets it up and she's like, Mom, shh, I'm recording. You have to be quiet. And then you'll hear her in her room and it'll sound like cats are like scratching on the walls because she's 5. But she's cute. And then she makes up songs and then she's like, Mom, you want to see what I recorded? And she'll play all her recordings for me and I have to sit and watch them all. And she'll dress up. And I mean, it's great and she did CM Kids, little kids last year. And hopefully, God willing, when COVID's done next year, she'll do it again. It's amazing. I love watching her do it. Even my little son, he's only going to be 2 and he'll, like, if I'm singing, he'll sing. So I just think that watching them want to, aside from just the theater aspect of it, just watching them want to follow in your footsteps and just be like you is pretty incredible.
Chakira, you have younger children. Are they also, have they gotten the...
Like many children? Many children. I have 3 under the age of 4. I have a set of twins, and we have a 5-month-old Audra. So she actually arrived like the day before the first COVID person on Long Island. So she's literally never left the house except to go to the pediatrician. This is the only world she knows. But my 3-year-olds do this really sweet ballet with a princess every week through Zoom. And it's awesome, but also sad that they also have better porta bra than I do at 41. It's a little sad for me. But it's really cool. I mean, they stand up in front of the fireplace with their little karaoke set and they sing and they do entire like shows. We call it like fireplace concert. And they do it all the time. And it's really cool. And it's such a great argument for nature versus nurture because, yes, I sing to them and I sing with them, but they want to go do it on their own. And they will, I mean, their stories and when they're dressing up and the way they're interacting and, if they're dressed up as, Disney princesses, you must refer to them as the Disney princess. You must not call them Ava and Ellie. So it's really, really cool because I know that they're totally into it. At this point in my life, I don't perform as much, and most of you know I'm a costumer. And so they're very at home in theaters. They're very at home in dressing rooms. They're super excited because they get to come to usually Tech Week of something. Please, something Tech Week sometime soon. Mommy wants to send these kids to college. So they're totally intrigued by all things theater. And so I'm super happy, but also a little scared because I think they're going to take it way farther than I ever did. And there's 2 of them and they're double trouble.
So guys, we're almost at the 1 hour.
I don't have kids of my own.
Please go ahead, Ellen. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't have kids of my own. But I did have some voice students who have developed into these wonderful vocalists, Brian being one of them. And to see him play the part of Jesus was very rewarding for me too as a teacher. So, and Danny also. Yeah. That's
so guys,
all I want to share. Thank you.
It's great. We are at the 1 hour mark, and I want to be respectful of your time. So I'm going to ask you this one last question, and then we're going to run real quickly through the actor studio questions. We've always ended the episode with that, but I'm going to ask you. What does CM mean to you now?
Is it all right if I go?
Yeah, please.
CM most definitely formed me into who I am today. And I say it all the time. Noelle threw me in at 14 years old and had me musically directing casts of people and just knew I could do it. And, and having Ellen, Ellen we worked together and did many kids camps and shows. And she was my vocal coach who brought me to a new level. All things that really molded me and absolutely made me the person I am today, without a doubt. I mean, I could not. There are like 3 people in my life, and they're all from Creative Ministries who formed me into who I am today. To be a teacher and now to have my kids from high school going there and appreciating and being a part of it is really, really incredible to me that family atmosphere is still there and that they feel comfortable there. They feel they're at home. And that's what CM always has been.
Anybody else?
Every time I go there, I always think of the nursery rhyme, the house that Jack built, but I always think this is the house that Noelle built. Every time I walk through those doors.
Yeah. Love that. I love that. Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you, everybody, for being so honest and forward and sharing your experiences. I'm gonna jump into the actor studio questions, and please chime in as we go along. The first person to chime in, and if you have a different answer, please feel free to chime in. This is how they close out their show, and this is how we've been doing it. So here we go. Everyone ready?
Ready.
As I rub my hands fakely to get going. Okay. What is your favorite word?
I don't think I'm allowed to say it.
Depends on the day, but I'll say mommy. But then some days that's my least favorite word. So that's going to be the same answer for both questions.
Okay. What is your least favorite word?
Stool. I don't like that word, stool. I don't like it. I don't like it. Stool. Hand me that stool? No, I don't want to.
So what turns you on?
We are getting very personal, Timothy.
I didn't write these questions in the acting studio questions. And you can take it in any way you want. Like for me, what turns me on is positivity.
Really great performances.
Laughter.
Being humble turns me on.
What turns you off?
Nastiness.
These days, social media.
Yes.
What sound or noise do you love?
My kids laughing.
Laughter.
Christina said that before.
That was my answer. See, mommies think alike, Chakira.
Christopher, what did you say?
I like hearing my dog snore. There's something very peaceful about it. It makes me happy hearing like my dog sound asleep and snoring and dreaming about something.
Aww.
What sound or noise do you hate?
Come on, Chakira.
Donald Trump's voice.
Oh no, mine was my kids crying. Come on, I thought we were mommying together. But yes, touche.
I can't stand the sound of a phone ringing.
Like an old time phone or like your cell phone? Like, oh, I have to pick it up and talk to somebody.
I have it on silent all the time. I can't stand the sound of the phone ringing.
You and Patti LuPone have that in common.
I don't know what sound I.
So what's your favorite?
Nails on a chalkboard.
Nails on a chalkboard.
Yeah.
What's your favorite curse word?
Am I allowed to say it?
Sure.
Rhymes with.
It's rhymes with buck.
Yeah.
Gold star.
What other profession would you like to attempt?
Oh my God, at this point, I've had like 4 major careers. I've been a teacher, I've been a costumer, I've been an actor, I've worked in mortgages. Give me something I haven't tried yet. I'll be a chef. I don't know.
I want to be a vet.
Yeah, but then you got to put dogs down. No. I was not okay at Marley and Me.
All right. I'd like to be a zookeeper.
Win.
Don, what about you?
Pardon?
Don, what about you?
What was the question?
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Astronaut. Yeah, sure.
Go do it. Go do it.
What other profession would you not like to do?
I couldn't be a nurse. I couldn't do it. It's too hard. I couldn't see all that. I give them credit beyond credit.
Christine, what about you?
I don't know. I've tried everything, so I don't know if there's something that I wouldn't,
do. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
This is the room full of chocolate.
The band's in the back. The band's rehearsing. Go ahead. The choir's,
Hey! that was my answer last time, and it's the same this time.
Well, everybody Everybody, thank you so much for being here. It was such a lovely evening getting to chat with you and hearing from you. So I want to say, on behalf of the organization, thank you so much for being here and for being a part of the show.
Thanks for inviting.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thanks,
having
guys.
us.
I'm gonna wrap up and I'll be right back.
Okay.
So again, everyone, thank you so much for being here. And as we close, another reminder, kindly consider, if you can today, donating to the organization. We are a nonprofit and any dollar helps. So we really, really appreciate you consider donating to the organization. And you can do that by visiting cmpac.com/donate. Any dollar helps. And we look forward to being able to open once COVID has settled down and we can have you back in the building safely. So that wraps up another episode of CM Spotlight. On behalf of CM, please stay safe and well, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.